In Ghost of Tsushima Legends, you have 4 classes, of course. The Samurai, the Hunter, the Ronin, and the Assassin. And let's go ahead and break down the classes and their abilities. So let's be clear first off, your gear among all your classes is shared. So right now I have the Samurai and the Ronin unlocked, and you can see I have the same katana, range, charm, ghost weapon 1, ghost weapon 2. But then if I go over to the Ronin, you can see that I have literally the same exact items equipped. They can be transferred from character to character. So gear is cross-character. You can share it with different characters. Rank, however, is not. So my Samurai's rank 10, he's all I've been playing. I very recently unlocked the Ronin. You have to use that character in the game, in those different missions, whether you're playing the story or if you're playing the survival horde mode, and then you'll level them up the more you play them and the better you do, of course. And the other thing that is unique amongst characters is techniques, which is what we're gonna be talking about today. So let's start with Samurai, which of course is the one I'm most familiar with. So here is the ultimate, Hachiman's Fury, which, like many of the other classes, it's basically a move that enables you to kill 3 enemies, and it can be modified in some ways, as we'll see soon enough. So first off, you start with this class ability, Spirit Pull. This is amazing. This ability is actually a godsend. Actually, give me a moment. I'm gonna move over here. This ability is phenomenal, and it's because, as you'll notice when you play Ghost of Tsushima Legends, healing is a problem. You got to be really careful about taking damage because healing is a problem. There are only 2 classes that offer healing. Of course, there is healing in the environment. You can hit the healing drums to get some health, but those can be scarce. You don't want to have to rely on them. You want to be able to have some abilities to heal yourself too. So one of them is this, and you get it right off the bat, rank 1, which is why I highly recommend Samurai for any starter character. Yes, I know, oh, boring, it's the generic class. Yeah, no, I started with them and it was amazing. I played through the story, and funnily enough, when I was having to queue with randoms to get through the story, the only classes I saw towards the end were Samurai. Because this self-heal is amazing. You just automatically lifesteal, you siphon HP for enemies near you, and it's only got a 36-second cooldown. That's not that bad. And it can give you a really, really nice heal, and it penetrates guard, armor, everything. You're just siphoning HP healing. It's phenomenal. Anyways, moving on. At level 2, you get Defender. Straightforward, you increase your base health by 25. So you can purchase that. Very, very nice. You're a little bit tankier. And then at rank 3, you get Lightning Reflexes, which enables you to parry arrows. I mean, this isn't like a game changer per se. I like it, so I'm not like spamming dodge to dodge an arrow. I could just hold my guard and advance towards the enemy, but that's personal preference. Heavenly Strike, I haven't gotten this one because personally this thing annoyed me in the single player, but it's good. It's an unblockable attack. It costs 1 resolve. I like to save my resolve to do my ultimate, but by all means, you can buy that one. And the next you have rank 7, Deep Strikes, straightforward. You just do 10% more melee damage. Now it is worth mentioning, you can only have 1 skill equipped per tier. So I can either have the base health perk on, or I can have the melee damage on. You can't have both. You have to choose, which is why I'm leaving this one unpurchased, because I already know I'm gonna get something else later on. But yes, very, very nice. I like doing more damage. If I ever wanted to be tankier, I could use this instead. But personally, I like doing damage. Rank 9, you can get this. Increased parry and dodge window, but only when you're at low HP. That's my issue with this. I don't like that you have to be at low HP to be able to use this. To be fair, obviously I haven't purchased it, and I could easily do so. I have the currency, but frankly, I'd prefer to parry arrows, and maybe max resolve would be better. I don't know, but yeah, it's something. It's something. I may consider it. And then at rank 10, you unlock this, Explosive Blade, which I haven't bought because I love this ability. The one you start with, the ability to siphon HP is so good, but you can buy Explosive Blade. Melee attacks deal damaging explosions on impact, so it's more damage. It's more damage. I mean, you know, sure, that's cool and all, but frankly, like, if you do this, then you're just at the mercy of lack of healing as a hunter and a assassin. So personally, I would say stick with the heal. Unless you've got a reliable Ronin who can heal you, then yeah, I guess you could, but that would take some coordination. In general, if you're playing solo, definitely use the Spirit Pull. All right, next you can get this one. This one is what I really want. I should be able to get it very, very soon. After I record this video, I'll be grinding some more. Hachiman's Fury against 2 extra strikes. So instead of killing 3 enemies, you're going to kill 5. Now, it's worth mentioning it's not a guaranteed kill. If you're fighting like a more elite enemy that has a lot of HP, it's not going to one-shot him. Maybe it'll 2-shot him. But at any rate, you get 2 extra strikes. So it's a really nice way, like when I run to a control point, there's enemies there I love to initiate with this, and I can do so much damage with it, which is very, very nice. In fact, if I could just briefly show you, I recently got a trinket, which is really cool. This smoke bomb, you can see at the bottom, it says sudden resolve, fills the first resolve on use. So I'll initiate with Hachiman's Fury, deplete my resolve to like do a lot of damage on a control point, and then immediately pop the smoke bomb, which refills a resolve, and also makes enemies vulnerable so I can start assassinating them, which gets kills and gives me a lot of resolve. Really good synergy, really nice way to rotate my abilities. I'm really excited to see what other kinds of gear I can get, what kind of abilities I could rotate, what kind of perks I can rotate to get some really, really nice synergies. I'm excited. I'm really, really excited. I'm loving this game. Back to techniques. And then here, at rank 14, decrease class ability cooldown by 15%. The heal is nice, 15%. What's 15% of 36? If 10 is 3.6, 5 is 1.8, 1.8 plus 3.6. Math was like 5.2 seconds less. So it's going to be like 30.8 seconds, I believe, instead of 36. Personally, I don't think that's a big difference. I'd rather do 10% more melee damage, but I mean, it's up to you. It's up to you. I mean, that is tempting. It's decent. I think I'll keep the damage, though. Increase max resolve by 1. That's nice. I mean, the advantage of this is normally you can only have 3. Now you'll have 4 instead. Why is that good? Well, it allows you to save the triple strike or quintuple strike for when you really need it. You save your ultimate. So instead of having 3 saved, you'll have 4. So you'll be able to save up for the next ultimate faster, which is nice. Increases the amount of legendary items you can equip by 1. Obviously, this is useless for me right now. I don't have a single legendary item. I haven't even seen a purple yet. Blue is the highest tier I've seen. But in the future, I could imagine this being very good. In fact, that might even be the best one. But for now, I would definitely say take Hachiman's Fury with 2 extra strikes over the quick unblockable. I mean, I haven't used it. I used it in the single player. The move was all right. Personally, I mean, for clearing a point, I would think it'd be better. But I mean, maybe I should sleep it on this a bit too much. It might be worth a shot. But anyways, those are the samurai skills. Let's move on. We've got the hunter, looking at her techniques. So, and you will see all these in the tutorials. Even though I haven't played the class, I mean, I have played the class. You play all in the tutorial, so I've seen how this works. Kind of like the Hachiman's Fury, except this one is at range. You target 3 areas, enemies fire a guaranteed headshot. It's really, really quick, uses your 3 resolve, just like the Hachiman's. And this one, you fire an arrow, and you don't even have to hit a target directly. You can fire it on the ground as an AoE. It stuns enemies. Now, it's worth noting this is a 55-second cooldown. Remember, the samurai one was 36 seconds, so this is kind of a sizable cooldown. But like a hunter, you're going to be playing at range. You're going to be shooting enemies in the head, and you can CC them from time to time. Can help your companions up front to do their melee damage. All right, next perk. Increase headshot damage by 50% for targets within 12 meters. So that's pretty straightforward. That's a close range headshot damage buff. So if you're shooting enemies a lot at close range, if you can't really rely on your friends to keep enemies away, if they're swarming you, or if you just like to get down and dirty, get in their face, then by all means, that's more damage. Refill 30% of ammo time. So if you're having trouble maintaining your ammo supply, which you're playing a hunter, you're probably using your bow a lot, then you can use this perk. It costs 1 resolve to refill your ammo. Now, do be aware, that's the same resolve that you use for your ultimate. So if you're using resolve to refill your ammunition constantly, you're never going to get this ammo charge up. But you could argue that getting your ammo back is much more important. That's up to you. That's due to your play style, personal preference. You make that decision. Body shots with the bow have a 50% chance to deal headshot damage. We'll take a look at the other perks. I mean, you should be aiming for the head, but if you're having trouble hitting the head, then by all means take this perk. It's good. Increase draw and reload speed by 100% for 30 seconds after attempting an assassination. That's crazy. That's actually crazy. So I can imagine you running in, stealth killing someone, or if it's difficult, use a smoke bomb, stealth kill someone, get out, and then get your high ground, and then you get this buff for that long. Draw and reload speed by 100%. That's crazy. That is a significant increase in DPS. That's a very good perk if you can actually get decent uptime on it. If you find that your playstyle allows you to get these assassinations, definitely. That's very, very powerful. Damage of status effects increased by 25%. So this is damage over time, burning, poison. It's going to do a bit more damage. That doesn't really sound very impressive. I mean, you're probably going to be aiming for the head anyway, trying to one-shot enemies. But plus, I don't even really think you can stack statuses very effectively. But, I mean, it's something. It's something. You might want to consider something like that. It could be handy. And then the other class ability you get is the explosive arrow. Same cooldown, except instead of stunning enemies, it does an explosion, which sets them on fire. It'll do some damage. Explodes after a short delay. I don't know why it says explodes after a short delay. It looks like it's instant. That looks like an instant explosion to me. It doesn't look like a short delay. Explodes after a point. Oh, whoa, 1 second delay. Very, very short. All right, sure. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. So it seems just kind of like the staggering arrow, except it does damage. Oh, it does seem to have maybe a shorter range, though. It's hard to say. Maybe slightly shorter range. I mean, there's got to be some kind of advantage to this over this. All right, anyways, moving on. Rank 11, the All-Seeing Eye. So just like with the Hachu, I don't even remember what it's called, but the samurai move where you can slash 5 enemies, now you can shoot 5 enemies in that. Now do be aware, it's probably really not worth investing in this if you're going to be using this a lot, because you're never going to have enough resolve for your ultimate. So if you're going to be using this all the time to refill your ammo types, probably you're not going to get much value out of this perk. So do be aware of that and try to choose the perks that'll synergize best with each other. Now for the final tier, rank 14, decrease class ability cooldown by 15%. I mean, that's pretty straightforward. Your cooldown's reduced by 15%. Unlock piercing arrows for your bow that can penetrate shields. Now that sounds insane. Goes straight through shields. You have an extra set of arrows. Goes straight through shields. That sounds very, very powerful. So you don't have to worry about shielded enemies as much. I like the sound of that. Increases the number of legendary items you can equip by 1. Of course, this is going to depend on what you have. Nobody's got legendary items right now, probably, unless you've insanely grinded. Maybe you might have some. Otherwise, in the future, this might be really powerful. For now, it's not useful, which is probably why it's the rank 18 perk. It's going to take you a while to get it. Moving on to the next one, Ronin. Now, this one's exciting. This is why I unlocked the Ronin. He's probably going to be my secondary class. So his ultimate is the Revive. And judging from this picture, it seems like you can do it from really far away, maybe even from anywhere. Revives all your allies on the map. Now, it's worth noting that just like with the standard revive, notice, look at the Samurai and Assassin's HP pool. It doesn't give them that much HP. It gets them off the ground, but they're still really low on HP. So make note of that, because we're going to return to that point later. All right, your default perk is the Friendly Dog Companion you can summon. It's an AI summon companion. It attacks. It can draw aggro, and you can pet it too. That's a massive perk. You can pet the dog, which is really cool. All right. Rank 2, increase damage from all ghost weapons by 50%. Now, that's a pretty big buff. So, sticky bombs, kunai, and any of your ghost weapons that do damage, it's going to do 50% more damage. So, that's cool. Maybe with kunai, it might work really well because kunai have a relatively low cooldown compared to most ghost weapons, especially if you can get some perks with it that reduce the cooldown even further. That could be handy. Increase stagger damage inflicted by 15%. That's pretty straightforward. You can break guards faster. But I would say that's not that great, though, because... Like they're showcasing a shield enemy here, but remember, you're only gonna have the stone stance when you start. Maybe in the future, if there's a sword that can give you like all the stances, or at least all the stances you want. Really, I just want stone and water. That's good enough for me. If I could get a sword that would allow me to have stone and water, then I could see this being useful. Yeah, more stagger might be to break shield guards faster. Otherwise, I don't really see that much potential in it. Breath of Ease and Nami now applies heal over time to all players for 8 seconds. I want this. This is amazing. Look, see, you revive them, and look. Now they're getting healed over time for 8 seconds, which is enough to get them back to full HP. That looks really, really good. And it heals you too. Not just them. It puts a heal on yourself as well. So this heals you too. You can see the particle effect is on your, the swirly swirl effect is heals you too. I wish your character was injured here so that they would show that better. But I'm pretty sure this heals you as well. So this perk, imagine this, dude. Imagine you're playing the Horde mode and you're across the map from your allies, and there's that one assassin that went really far out, tried to be the epic guy that just kicked butt, assassinates everyone. He just dies across the map. You can revive him and put a heal over time on him, get him back into the fight, and he's probably got his cooldowns back, and he can use his cooldowns and maybe even win the fight that time, or die again. But hopefully you've at least bought your team enough time to go over there and help him. That looks good. That's the one I want. All right, then weaken enemies so they deal 25% less damage and take 25% more damage. Costs 1 resolve. That's really good, but again, that costs 1 resolve. So the same resolve you could use to use a revive. But here's the thing. It actually makes sense here. It makes sense here because you're only going to use the revive when the revive needs to be used. If nobody's dying, then your resolve is going to sit at full. You're not going to have a use for it. So you can just pop a resolve here and there for this. You weaken an enemy. It's an AoE, like smoke debuff and buff. Well, no, it's just a debuff. So when you debuff an enemy, so imagine there's a boss or a mini boss, you debuff them with this. They deal 25% less damage. They take 25% more damage. And it's a circular AoE smoke, so you can run onto a point, pop it, and everyone on that AoE point is going to take more damage and deal less damage. That's very powerful. And you can just use this sparingly, keep your resolve between 2 and 3, and then whenever the revive is needed, like you use your judgment. You use your judgment, manage your resolve effectively, and you'll know when you're able to pop this. Plus, if you have this, increase max resolve by 1, then you're in really good shape because you can have 4 resolve, and you'll always have the capability to pop a revive, but you have that extra resolve on the side for you to be able to use the weaken enemies perk, because this is strong. This is really strong. That's a really good perk. When I'm planning, I want this. I want this because this is a really strong debuff, and I want this, and I want this. That's what I'm planning. So I get the really, really good revive that helps my teammates extremely well, and I can always have that ready. And I have this nice debuff. It's just really good for team synergy. But that doesn't stop there. Ronin has something else that's really good. And this makes you the medic of the team. Ronin is meant to be the support, the debuffer, but also the healer. Look at this. On a 42-second cooldown, so slightly longer than the samurai heal, you can deploy a small pot of incense that heals nearby allies. So this is an AoE heal. So please, for the love of God, if you're playing multiplayer and there is a Ronin on your team and you need heals and you can't find them, stay close to him. Don't make things hard on him. Don't, like, he might be trying to run to you to heal. Now, he might not have this. You have to be rank 10. I don't have this. I'm gonna have to grind up Ronin to be able to get this ability. Ronins are the healers. Samurais have a self-heal. Samurai, you start with the self-heal at rank 1. They're the best starter class. Ronin, when you get to rank 10, you get an AoE heal. Until rank 10, you don't have a healer. You're as bad at healing as an assassin or a hunter. You're no better. But once you hit rank 10, you get this ability, and I really want that. Moving on. Breath of Izanami now ignites enemies all near players. So you revive your allies, and then it ignites the enemy. Meh. Seems like a pretty strong burn. I don't know if it's me, but that burn seems to do more damage than normal. I might have to test that myself. But I just don't like seeing my allies stuck at like 20% HP, dude. I think the heal is better. Plus, it heals you, too. But yeah, I mean, that burn does seem pretty strong. So, I mean, if they're dead, they're probably surrounded by enemies. So you revive them. And that burn radius seems pretty far. That guy on the right got burned, too. I'm still leaning on this one, though. I like the heal over time. But, you know, personal preference. Okay, you know, no surprise here. Cooldown reduced by 15%. Increase healing received and health regen by 50%. I have mixed feelings about this. I mean, that's a big increase. But you need to understand that that only affects you. So you yourself are going to receive more healing and regenerate more. So you'll benefit more from your pot of incense. You'll benefit more from this regen from Breath of Izanami. And as they also show, you'll benefit better from consumables. I don't have any consumable heals. You don't start with any. You'll get that later, I guess. I don't have one right now. But yeah, you'd get more healing from that, which is cool. But personally, a much more dependable heal is this. And it seems to heal pretty decently whether you have this perk or not. But maybe combined with that perk, this would definitely heal a lot. So it might be worth it. But I kind of like the idea of having that extra max resolve. I'd experiment with it. I do want to level up a Ronin after I'm done with Samurai. And then, you know, this is the same for everyone, I think. Increase the number of legendary items you can equip by 1. All right, lastly, one more class. Assassin. Let's talk about the techniques on the Assassin. I see this class more than any other. It's like every like weeb wants to be an assassin. Dude, I played a freaking horde mode and I was a samurai and then everybody else was assassins and they were always like struggling with healing and I was just like siphoning HP from the enemy. Another thing that's the problem, which I mean that's a subject for another day. Freaking levers, man. They need to have some kind of system where people can join mid-game. I hate that they don't have that because if people leave, you're just boned. And we had to 3-man a horde, which we did. We won. Actually, we won perfectly fine. We kept all the control points, but it made it needlessly harder, and we couldn't do the bonus objectives. Anyways, moving on. Here's your ultimate, Shadow Strike. Enter the shadows and strike enemies from a distance. So this seems very similar to the Samurai one, except slower, I guess. But it's effectively the same thing. You do a lot of damage to 3 enemies. So it's a nice little area clear. And then you have Toxic Vanish. I love this move. This is really good. Vanish in a cloud of poison smoke that deals stagger damage to nearby enemies. It's a pretty sizable cooldown, though, 62 seconds. But basically, it's kind of like the smoke bomb. You stealth yourself, but it also poisons everyone. And it does stagger damage, too, which is really good. The reason why I said I love this and I am not even playing Assassin is because when I have an Assassin on my team and he pops that, sometimes it staggers enemies. And I can go for an Assassinate. And it gives me like a free one-shot, which is really beautiful. Moving on, inflict 30% more damage during assassinations. Pretty straightforward, just 30% more damage when you assassinate. Because assassinations don't kill everyone in one hit. They'll kill the basic enemies, but if it's like an elite enemy, they might not die. So this could definitely be relevant. Stealth attacks are faster and quieter. If you find yourself doing a lot of stealth attacks, that can definitely be very powerful. Imagine dropping a smoke bomb in a group of enemies and you just want to stealth attack quickly all of them. That could definitely be very good, because stealth attacks are really slow by default. So that's a nice perk. I see potential in that. Shadow Strike gains 2 extra strikes, no surprise. Everybody except the Ronin has something like this. Instead of 3, it goes to 5. Pretty straightforward. Perform a stronger stealth attack doing 2 times normal damage. But again, this costs resolve to do. So you would have to spend 1 resolve and 2 times normal damage. That's going to do insane DPS. And then, I mean, you can have that with the stealth attacks fire faster and quieter. So, of course, it could go just as fast as that. So you have to decide, okay, should I have always 30% more assassination damage, or should I not have that most of the time, but from time to time I can do a double damage assassinate? I mean, I can see the potential in this, because most enemies you're going to one-tap with an assassination, but if you can pick out the elite enemies, maybe you could use this, but that's probably a judgment call, because there could be quite a few elite enemies as well, so you have to decide if it's worth it. All right, no, and moving on, you are silent when running. Personally, yeah, so you could easily like sprint up to enemies and assassinate them one by one. But I don't know how great this is going to be because you're playing multiplayer anyway. your allies are going to be making noise. And I mean, maybe if you're really coordinated, you could do something. But if you're not making noise, your ally is, and your ally is going to aggro the enemies. Heck, if you're playing with me, I'm going to aggro the enemies. I like to rush in. I'm the samurai. I will face tank. I will shred. I enjoy it. It's how I like to play the game. I'm sorry, assassin mains. It's just how it is. So maybe you don't want to do that. Plus, I feel like this is good. Stealth attacks are faster and quieter. I feel like you can't not use that. That seems really good. That's what I would use. But by all means, this is an option. All right, now the second ability. So this is more of a team-based one, Group Vanish. Now, it's worth pointing out, this is a lower cooldown, too. So you stealth yourself and your allies, which is really good. I could definitely see this being very powerful in a coordinated group. Like, if you want to stealth past certain things and, like, do coordinated, like, assassinations, that could be really strong. But the fact that it has a lower cooldown, too, I would imagine even for the assassin themselves, you might want to use it. I mean, is the poison really that beneficial? The stagger damage can be kind of nice. But I feel like this, I mean, just the fact that it's a lower cooldown makes me want to use this instead. Even if my teammates aren't going to take advantage of the stealth, if they're just going to break it instantly without using an assassinate, I feel like this is really good. And I wonder if, yeah, I mean, you could stealth multiple people. If you have just one friend in team chat, let's say a random goes down, you could stealth your friend, be like, hey, can you go res that guy? And I'm going to go do this. But again, this is vanish along with nearby allies. This isn't just stealth everyone along the map. But look how far that guy was on the left. He was a decent distance away, and you still got the stealth. But yeah, you still got to be relatively close to land that stealth. They got to actually be within the smoke bomb radius. Successfully assassinating an enemy while Vanish reactivates Vanish and refreshes the duration. This sounds broken. This sounds broken. But as you will see, it only seems to happen once. So look, you stealth. Okay, and then you got that guy, stabbed him, re-stealth. You got this guy, and you did not re-stealth. So you see, it seems to only happen once. When I read that at first, I was like, dang, that's insanely powerful. So you can like infinite stealth kill like everything. That's broken. Like combine that with the stealth attacks are faster and quieter, and you're just quickly stabbing people one by one and assassinating them very, very quickly and just perma-stealth. I think they realized that was broken. So what really happens is it doubles the amount of assassinations you get. So you stealth, you assassinate, you immediately re-stealth, you can assassinate again, but then that's it. But then the fact that this is a 50-second cooldown, and then you have a way to refresh the duration, and then on top of that, you can reduce the cooldown by 15%. If you rotate that well enough, you might be able to stealth pretty frequently. That's pretty good. And then smoke bombs don't stealth you, of course, but, you know, they set enemies up for assassinations as well, so you can rotate that as well with your cooldown. Yeah, stealth attacks are faster and quieter. Combine that with the smoke bomb, because I'm a samurai. I'm not even an assassin, dude. I drop a smoke bomb, I stagger enemies, and I'm spamming the assassinate, dude. And imagine being an assassin and having this. You could do it so much faster. Moving on, deal 50% bonus assassination damage to staggered enemies. That looked stupid. I'm sorry, but that looked extremely stupid, and let me explain why. So, I don't know if you saw what the guy did there. So here's an elite enemy. So you shot a poison dart, which I don't actually have that yet. That's cool. So you had to poison him with the poison dart, and then he had to pop that to stack even more poison, and then he staggered, and then he got the 50%. Like, is that worth it, dude? That seems like way too much work, man. Use this one, please. Assassin mains, this one's good. Stealth attacks are faster and quieter. You will love this, I promise you. Your literal class rotates around stealth attacks. Make it quicker, make it quieter. You're gonna love this perk. None of these other ones seem worthwhile. If I were an assassin main, I would definitely run... I'm not really sure about this top one, to be honest. I'm not sure. Maybe the class cooldown and the Vanish along with nearby allies. Stealth attacks are faster and quieter. As for this last one, if I'm using this, then I would probably not run the Shadow Strike 2 extra strikes. Otherwise, I would run it, maybe. Well, actually, no. Chain Vanish seems really good. Yeah, Chain Vanish. Yeah, Chain Vanish. So you can refresh the cooldown. And of course, this is increase the number of legendary items you can have equipped by 1. It's as simple as that, dude. I see a lot of beautiful synergy here. As I said, I'm a samurai main. I stand by it that this is the best class to start with. This is the best class to start with simply because of this ability right here that you get from the beginning. Rank 1, you siphon HP. It's so good. It's insanely good. Now, the best support, I do feel like in a good team composition, you need a Ronin. I feel like this move right here, Weakening Burst, is insane. Rushing into a group of enemies and popping that to weaken them all for your entire team so that they take 25% more damage and deal 25% less damage, that's insane. Every team needs a Ronin. Every team needs a Ronin. Like, for the healing, for the debuffing, And I think the reviving is really good, but the Ronin has to be good. You know, the Ronin, obviously if the Ronin dies, then who cares if he has the ability to revive everyone if he's the first to die, you know? He needs to be able to survive. If the Ronin could survive, he can actually be the backbone of the team. I kind of do that already with Samurai because I survive so well because, you know, Samurai is meant for frontlining and like this Siphon HP is so good. So even though I can't revive enemies with an ultimate, I mean revive allies, I can revive them manually just by picking them up. It's not as good, but you know, I can stay alive for a long time. I can stand my ground, revive allies, get them on their feet, and that's pretty good. But a Ronin with the heals can help keep everyone topped off because Hunter and Assassin, they don't have their own heals. They don't have their own heals. There's going to be items later that you can get. I haven't gotten them yet. I don't know how rare they are. There's going to be items you can get that can heal you. These two do not have their own heals. Ronin doesn't have his own heal until rank 10. So until rank 10, you don't have that heal. Samurai is the only class that has their own healing right from the beginning. So that's why I highly recommend it as a starter class. But there you go. Those are all the classes, all their techniques, and explained. I hope that was helpful. If you like this video, please leave a like and comment. It does help out a lot. I do upload a new video every single day, so make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss out. I also stream daily on Twitch starting at 12 p.m. Central and ending at 4 p.m. Central. So make sure you follow me there to catch it on live. Link is in the description. But that's going to be it for tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you had fun. And I'll catch you next time.